to have the pleasure of meeting Tushar Chaudhry. He was an international student probably 5 years ago, right?
Thank you.
So he's going to speak to you about how his journey at Troy was. He's going to give you some ideas what you have to think about while you're here. He is currently working for Chevron, and he is serving on the board of Sorrell College of Business. So he has also been a great supporter of international students. He is founding a scholarship for Indian students that are in the STEM field. So if that is you, come and see us and we'll help you apply for some scholarships that he has helped us fund. Other than that, I'm going to let Tushar take over.
Yeah, appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. Start off by thanking Dean Frigg, International Programs, and very special guest for myself, Dean Edwards, Dean of the Sorrell School of Business. Thank you for making some time for me. Want to especially thank all of you for taking time of listening to what I have. So we'll do it a little bit as try to avoid doing a monologue. So I wanted to sort of open it up by asking, how do you feel right now? It's an open question, anybody. How do you feel at this very moment?
Excited.
Okay, thank you. Yeah? Nervous? Okay. Somebody from that side? How do you feel right now? Nervous? Okay.
Excited.
Okay, nervous and excited right now. That side of the room?
Excited.
Yeah, excited, okay. Any other thoughts? Any
Anyone
other thoughts?
tired?
Yeah, jet lagged? Jet lagged, okay. Okay. I want to give you a sobering fact. For the group that's sitting here, there are 200,000 other students who will not get the opportunity of sitting where you are right now. Now, I pulled this from the ratio data from the Institute of International Education. Now, you may feel that, oh, this is pretty common. You know, I've traveled from my home country. I'm here. My friend is here. Maybe some of your relatives have traveled abroad to study. But the proportion of students who actually get a chance to study abroad is a fraction of 1%. So for the group that sits here, there are 200,000 students who did not get the opportunity to sit where you are. So a couple of things I want to talk about is being excited is great. You feel determined, right? To actually come here as an international student, you took a deliberate step of wanting to leave your home country and travel all the way to Troy, Alabama. Consider yourself, be humble about it. You're fortunate. I mean, this is an incredible opportunity, right? Maintain that humility, because there are 200,000 other students who finished secondary schooling in their home countries who, for a variety of reasons, did not get the opportunity of being in an orientation just like the one happening here at Troy. Why are you here? Right? So you obviously did not travel all the way here to just be excited and nervous. Why are you here? Give me some answers. Okay?
To get enlightened.
Okay. Yes. Okay, improve yourself, right? Yeah. Back there. Why are you here? Were you forced into coming here? Anybody forced to travel to Alabama? Okay, so what brings you here? Yeah.
I want to get to know the American culture.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Back there. Yeah. Why are you here? Okay. My friends with the red t-shirt, why are y'all here? Why are you here? I mean, I'm sure the visa officer must have asked, right? Why are you traveling? Okay. Okay. I can already see, right, the front benchers, and then it all transitions back. Thank you, ladies, right? So I'll sort of summarize my thoughts, right? So typically, when you ask this question multiple times, and I've asked this question multiple times, it all comes down to dreams and aspirations. When you started this application process, it had something to do with dreams or aspirations. And those aspirations are driven, and those dreams are driven not just by yourself, but also dreams of your family, right? I mean, the very fact you have traveled here, that means your parents, your grandparents, your uncles and aunts also have dreams for you, right? I'm hoping. Country. Back when I was a student here, there were a lot of students who were funded students by their respective governments. There was time there was a large contingent of Uzbek students. They are bringing the dreams of the country. They're using their country's resources to come here so to hopefully take knowledge back home, right? So you are here representing, just like an onion and layers, dreams of yourself, dreams of your family, and dreams of the society that each of you come for. Yeah? I believe that we become what we are from the experiences we've had. Our thoughts form based on the experiences we have had. So it's very important that I share who I am. I was an international student from India, went to LSU in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, got my electrical engineering degree, and I did my MBA in Houston, Texas at Rice. Been part of the global ops team at Chevron, and who I am is a factor of the transnational experiences I've had. Been very fortunate to work for about 3 years each in each of those flags, the United States, Angola, Korea, Nigeria, the UK, and currently I'm based in Kazakhstan. Give me a shout out if you are from any of those flags that are on the screen.
Nigeria.
Okay.
India.
Wonderful. Home team. India. Okay. Any Koreans? No Koreans? Oh, we got 2 Koreans. Annyeonghaseyo. Any Central Asian, Kazakh students? Kyrgyzstan. Okay. Great. Bishkek is very good. Any Angolan students? That's generally very low numbers. Very low numbers. Okay, maybe we need to get some recruiting going in Luanda. We need to, right. Like Dean Frigg introduced, I was a former student at Troy. I did not get the privilege of graduating from Troy. I did my freshman year at Troy, and this was a very special place for me. That's my entry visa stamp when I landed. Thank you to Dean Frigg. It's now out. I was not here in this orientation 5 years ago. I was here 21 years ago, right? 22 years ago. Oh, gosh. I was very fortunate. Wanted to put this picture up, right? So I was pretty fortunate to get the Outstanding Freshman of the Year award, but I had this because Chancellor Hawkins was a veteran when I was here, and he's still here, right? So that's talking about legendary continuity of leadership. Also part of who I am are people who I don't have their photographs but are actually here with me, right? So I have a few of my friends here. I see Param. Maybe you guys can stand up for a second. These are actually my roommates from my freshman year here at Troy. Right, so thank you. So they'll call BS on anything that is not true, right? So yeah, that's right. So they're here to fact check. Well, all that is great, right? Had a good experience, traveled all over. Why am I here? I currently live in Atyrau, Kazakhstan, on the edge of the Caspian Sea, and that's a pretty long trip. It's a pretty long trip. Takes about 24 hours to make it here. Why is it important for me to be here to have a chat with you? I wanted to keep it short and simple. I wanted to share 3 key learnings that were sown as seeds in my brain when I showed up at Troy. Those seeds fortunately germinated, and I've carried them till today. We'll talk about each of them separately, but at a very high level, it's around planning, high performance, and embracing globalism. So we'll start off with planning. What really is planning? Really is planning. If you see, I've put daydreams up. Go ahead and daydream. I don't like the word dreams. The reason being, dreams are stuff which happen in subconscious brain. They're tough to remember and take action upon because we typically forget at dawn. I like daydreams because they're conscious thoughts that you think about. They represent what is it that you want to do. They represent your hopes. Those are tied into your aspirations. So daydream a lot. Think about, right, when you're by yourself with your friends, with your family, talk to them about your dreams, speak them out loud. That's a very important first step. If you miss this step, everything falls apart. So I wanted to stress upon that. Leverage resources to build steps. So that was actually something that I spent a lot of times with the professors that I had here at Troy. While it's great to have dreams and aspirations, and it's good to daydream, that basically sets up an aiming point for each of you. My aiming point doesn't have to be your aiming point. Each of you will have your own unique dreams and aspirations as to what is it that you want to do. But now you need to take the hard steps of setting up steps, bounce ideas with the resources that are available at the university. You will have to be deliberate about seeking those resources. In this orientation, you will be meeting a series of resources that are available to you. Some of those resources are important for compliance purposes, but then there are a lot of resources that are meant so that you can thrive in your Troy experience and life beyond. Track, review, and pivot. Once you have those steps and you're on that journey, check in with your academic counselors. Check in with friends or family members that you know of and see how you are keeping up with your goals. I put pivot up if needed. I pivoted. I was a computer science student here of my freshman year. And as you saw in my previous, I graduated with an electrical engineering degree. The reason I pivoted was because I realized I was not cut out to be a computer science major. Funny story, I wasn't even cut out to be an electrical engineer because I realized that I'm really in the field. I'm a constant nomad. That's me. I finished up with an electrical engineering degree because my scholarship was for a set term, so I had to finish the program. But I decided to do petroleum engineering along the way as well. That's why I pivoted into the oil industry. So pivoting is very important. It is not a recognition of you messing up. Pivots are as good as taking positive step forwards. Sometimes maybe you'll have to take a step back, but that's okay. As long as you know you're on a journey to go where you want to go, it is all okay. Yeah? High performance. I was extremely fortunate on this one. About 3/4 of you are undergrad students. Raise your hands if you are not an undergrad student. If you're a graduate student or an exchange student. How long of a program do you have? 2 years, 2 years, pretty standard, 2 years. I'll get you guys out of the way first. That's a pretty rapid climb out, so you really don't have time to get your feet going, because before you know it, you'll be done. Undergrads have a little bit more leeway, 4 years, but the time is still pretty short. How you finish at the day you graduate and the journey you get on is a course correction which is hard to pull off later on. As foreign students, as you wrap up your time here at Troy, academic high performance will be something which will be very critically looked at when you go talk to people, either going back to your home country or if you want to continue your career in the US or in a country other than your home, and like in my case. So academic excellence. From day one, be clued in. Show up to class the very first day. Introduce yourself to each of the professors and let them know who you are and why you are here. Let them know what your dreams and aspirations are. Show up to class, and academically outperform every single person. There is absolutely no excuse for that. If you drift off, it is a very tough recovery. Sounding like a preacher, but I have seen those crash and burns happen on far too regular basis. Avoid that. Build skill sets to align with your plan. So these are soft and hard skills. So while academic high performance is pretty important, that's the graded coursework that you have to do, keep your thoughts on what your aiming point is. Focus on your communication skills. Those are some of the soft skills. If English is not your first language, take some time, see if there are any courses that maybe you can brush up on your speaking skills or conversational skills. Build that skill set up so that when the D-Day of graduation shows up, you're ready to go. Maybe there are some certifications, depending on what your major is. Maybe there are certain certifications that you can do that help you prepare as you transition out. Challenge yourself to do better. Always. If you feel you're doing well, then maybe you haven't thought about the next step. Continue to push better. Keep reevaluating yourself semester on semester. If it's called from family, it's all good. They're missing you. Continue to improve yourself. Have a chat with your professors as you finish the coursework. Have a chat with them and look for feedback even if you get an A. Because guess what? You're pursuing high performance, academic excellence. Talk to them. If you finish Calculus 2, have a chat with your professor and see, hey, what were some of the things maybe you didn't understand? That'll prepare you for the next semester because you got to keep getting better. This is one of my favorites. Embrace globalism. I'll be very honest with you. If 22 years ago, somebody asked me the same exact question I asked each of you, why are you here? I'll tell you my answer was, I got into the habit of reading newspaper when I was in 8th grade. Every day when I would open the newspaper, read through the articles, there would obviously be news about the town where I lived in and of India. But when it came to news from abroad, they were typically surrounded around the US. And I was like, well, I guess the US is the center of the geopolitical space. That's the feel I got. I was like, well, I need to get into the middle of that action. If US is what everybody's reading about, then maybe I need to go and kind of find out for myself. I'll be very transparent. I would rarely ever see news of Yugoslavia, rarely ever news of Germany, sometimes about Russia. But the US news would typically make it into my hometown newspaper on a rather regular basis. But once I got to Troy, I realized the world beyond. I met my first set of international friends in an orientation just like this. And while the time at orientation was around introductions, I truly started realizing the subtleties of difference that we all bring into this melting pot. But I also started appreciating how each and every country is special in its own way. 22 years ago, the Chinese students had just sort of started entering the Troy system as exchange students. The Chinese economy at that time was a $400 billion economy. Wow, things have really changed. I think a $10 billion economy now. Things have changed. Embrace globalism. Have a chat with your friends. I intentionally put it, I understand each of you is nervous. Take your time, do it at your own pace. And I know it's very tempting to surround yourself with people who look like you and talk like you and maybe have similar backgrounds as you. And that's okay. You need to have that support system. I had my support system. They're right there. But do take step outs so that you can get to know folks from places and countries you have never heard about. Take the time in learning about the Kyrgyz culture. Ask them stories about Osh and Bishkek and how your friends spend family time on Lake It's so cool. It's so cool. Traveling is fantastic, but start that journey by having those conversations. The reason is the world is changing. It's always going to change. It is going to get interconnected more and more. Also use that moment to challenge your biases. Each of you, if you were to secretly ask, hey, what do you think about people from this region and that region, from this country or that country, you would each have some thoughts of what you think about them. You each will. Because those thoughts were formed based on the experiences you've had up till today. By talking to your classmates, talking to your friends, this is your cohort, get to know and challenge your biases. The thoughts you've had, challenge them. Try to clean slate your mind so that you can truly understand what each person is all about, because you may find your own home in one of those places. Each of those flags that I had in my About Me are now partly my home. I mean, I can literally go from it's home. Each of those flags now represent home for me. Leverage Troy, right? I mean, that is actually something that's very important. I know it's a punchline. You'll see it on some of the billboards as you drive out. Alabama's International University. Very true. Very true. The reason I say that is not because Troy gets the highest number of international students compared to other universities, but the university administration and the students, right up till the chancellor's level, are truly engaged in providing a two-way street in global experience. I know our students from the US are traveling abroad to get some time to learn about your cultures. And then the university administration is very key about making sure that our international students get opportunities to experience the American culture. Very deliberate, a lot of systems processes. I've interacted at a few universities, and truly, Troy does it extremely well. Yeah? So those three things were things that I was very fortunate. I basically got pilled within the first month I was here at Troy. But there are a couple of things I wanted to share that came a little bit later, and I want you to know them so that you know them on day one. There's a word that I've been using all day, deliberate. Be deliberate. Don't wait for things to happen, make them happen. Why I'm excited about the people in this room is because each of you were deliberate in the choice of coming to Troy, Alabama. It's not really a deliberate step if you go to a local university. The steps that you took to be here in this room confirms to me about your deliberateness. So I want you to keep that spirit going. Right, the two things I have is about investing in experiences. Those experiences could be as simple as joining a family if they invite you for a Thanksgiving meal. It could be as simple as maybe going to the beach over spring break. It could be as simple as going to a football game at the Veterans Stadium. It could be as simple as a conversation in the quad. Invest in those experiences. They stick with you. They literally give you a tenfold value for time. Those experiences will help form who you become in 15, 20 years. Those conversations you have, those experiences you have will help form who you become, and hopefully a better person. A lot of times, and the reason I bring that up is that's a mistake. Sometimes people get so pivoted and go in the zone that they actually incubate themselves, that they actually start cutting themselves off from the very reason that they traveled abroad. Right? So be deliberate about experiences. About supporting your fellow cohorts. That is mission critical. Each of the things that I have done was not my original idea. I had my own dreams and aspirations, but they were pretty loose formed. Not a single thing that I planned for myself actually happened. The steps I actually went through, now the spirit of what I'm doing is what I always wanted to do. but they came from my cohorts. Why did I go to LSU? I actually never even knew about LSU. No idea. I had, based on my experiences, places I wanted to go. But it was a fellow cohort of mine who walked up to me and said, hey, Tushar, you should consider going to LSU because they have full scholarships. A cohort supported me. I mentioned about electrical engineering and then basically realizing, no, actually that's not it for me as a profession. Actually, that came for me during internship from my supervisor of the company I was interning at. That, hey, Tushar, I think you should really work for an oil company. Cohorts are people around you. Support them as they support you. Build that ecosystem. My friends here, we always bounce ideas. Hey, what is it that we want to do? Because that learning never stops. Continue to be selfless. Be a servant partner. Support each other. Help them live their dreams, because when you help them live their dreams, that will help you live your own dreams. Yeah? I think we have a few minutes. And I'm happy to take on any questions, any comments that you have. And good luck on the adventure that you've embarked on. If you ever choose to want to contact me, Dean Frigge can give you my contact details. But yeah, if you have a few minutes, any comments, feedback? If not, I'll get out of your hair. Hey,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.